Good afternoon. I'm Philip Palmer, and we're live in the ABC7 newsroom, and you're looking at AIR7 as it goes over Altadena and the Eaton fire. What we're doing here is AIR7 was given permission this morning to lower its elevation and actually fly a little bit lower. You've heard from Gabe Santos early on Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. They had been flying at around 10,000 feet for quite some time. But this is our opportunity to get down on to a lower level and be able to actually try to give you as much of a look as we can at what is surviving and what has been destroyed in the Eaton fire, again, which is in Altadena. I have a map that is with me here, and I'm going to try to communicate with AIR7 as we can if we see a spot that we want to slow down and really take a closer look at. You can see that street across the middle, East Mendocino Street. We also saw Altadena Drive. There's Maiden Lane. Now we know that there is at Mendocino and Maiden Lane, that was an area that we've driven on the ground. I'm going to try to find it here on my map. And we're just doing this so that if you live in this area, you might be able to have a little bit better look, because the restrictions are still definitely in place for people to go through there. So I'm going to stop talking here for a second and try to find Mendocino and Maiden on my map here, and maybe we can, together kind of have AIR7 move through some of those areas. But as AIR7 kind of takes a look at this, I'm going to look at my map here. As you can imagine, there's been just so much destruction through here, and there are very few things in this stretch that have survived. But you do see right there, okay, there's Lake Avenue, and now I've got Lake and Mendocino. So if you are unfamiliar with Altadena, this is going to be to the west of the Altadena Country Club, this area right here, North Lake. Hold on, I'm going to ask someone a question that's right here with me. We were just given word from our assignment desk that the fire department is flying drones north of this location, and so we are going to have to remain inside the fire lines, it appears, but to the southern part of Altadena. So you're looking at Lake right now. So this is Lake, and you do see a fire official driving up. That is just past Mariposa. So as I look at this, that is Lake, and we are looking in the direction of Mariposa, an East Altadena Drive. And again, you're getting an opportunity to see this with us. Altadena Drive, East Altadena. If you went to the eastern side of Lake, you'd run across St. Mark's School, but on the west side, that is east. Oddly enough, that is East Altadena. So now we're going to Poppy Fields Drive, and it looks as if we should come up on Athens Street before long. There's Alta Vista. Yeah, we're all on the same map at the same time. Farnsworth Park is up to the left. So now we're looking at Athens Street, and these are blocks and blocks of streets as we are moving up in the direction of East Loma Alta. Now again, we're not going to be able to go too far north because of drones flying this same area. And again, if you could pause right there, AIR7, that looks like 909 is a home that has survived on that street. So we're panning over here in the direction of East Loma Alta. And we're going to, there's Mount Curve. As we zoom in, let me see if I can find Alta Pine with you there, AIR7. Again, we are mostly doing this so that if you happen to be from this area and you haven't been able to go into this neighborhood, maybe this is going to give you a little bit better look, and you can see what is there. Maybe even you might know of your property and you're just wondering about your neighbors. So you see East Loma Alta, and then there's also an area. I see. Okay, so we just wanted to make sure that you guys are familiar with what we're doing. If you're just joining us, we are streaming AIR7's look at the Eaton fire. I'm Philip Palmer, and we're live in our ABC7 newsroom with a much more relaxed look at this. We're not trying to use this as a broadcast per se. We're using this as information. And we started looking a little bit further west. We're now right along East Loma Alta, looking into many of these communities, trying to use our mapping that could show you some of these addresses. Now the addresses have departed. There they are. So you're looking at Loma Alta, and I'm trying to see if we might be coming up on Lincoln before too very much farther here. But AIR7 was given permission, if you're joining us late, AIR7 was given us permission to drop down in altitude just a bit and take a closer look from lower altitude. And sadly, so much of this looks as if it did from upper altitude. But it is giving us, let's see, that is McNally Avenue, North Fair Oaks. And I'm, as I said earlier, I am looking on an iPad to kind of keep track with where we are and try to see if this Taos Road. But some of these streets are a little bit smaller. I'm sure if you live in this community, you're familiar with it. East Alta Loma is also very large main thoroughfare there. I'm just trying to figure out the east-west part of Loma Alta seems to be at Fair Oaks. So Fair Oaks is our dividing line for east and west, and there's Fair Oaks off to the left of your screen there, and you see many of the addresses popping up, and it does look like that is, if I'm going to open up my map here, it does look like, I'm trying to see if that is the 210, might be the 210 that I'm seeing there. No. It could be. It's hard to tell from what I'm looking at. So, but now we're looking at where East Altadena and Lake, and if you continued further south on Lake, you're going to hit the 210. So that wasn't the 210 up there. It was just a major street, Marathon Road, and so you can hear a lot of the goings on in the newsroom here as we're just taking a look at this with you. Fair Oaks down. Just looking for silver spruce here. And again, we are on the southern portion of the fire area, of the Eaton fire, of the evacuation zone here. We mentioned it a moment ago, drones are flying on the northern part for the fire department, and again, it's important to note there is a very methodical ground level mapping of the Eaton fire, and there is a website through the county where they actually have pictures and a percentage of the damage of each home they've been able to map. As I remember from a press conference this morning, I believe the mapping has been done for about 30% of the damage this morning. And if you go to that LA County website, you can. It is the associated with the Eaton fire, and also one associated with the Palisades. And you will have little houses, near as I can describe them. They're animated, almost looking like a Monopoly house. And if it's green, your house or structure had no damage. Red, actually black is no damage. Green is minimal. And then the red is significant damage. You click on that, and if your house has been mapped, it will have a percentage And it will, in many cases, have a photo or multiple photos of ground level images of your house, whether you're in Palisades or Eaton, and you will be able to see specifically. But again, they said that was only about 30% mapped at this point. And AIR7 being able to fly this and fly it a little bit lower today, that helps, and maybe giving a chance to see. But you also see fire officials driving around in Altadena, the Sierra Madre area, and that's really pretty much the only people who should be driving around in these areas, because in many cases it's a crime scene. We still don't know the cause, but there has been death associated with this, obviously, and that will likely be part of the investigation if this is found to have been started through human cause. So there's Mariposa Street. There's Mendocino Street. That again is a street that I wanted to kind of take a look at because there was so much damage. Mendocino and I believe it was Maiden. Those two spots. We've had reporters. We've had friends of us drive that area, and you've really been able to see so much. So North Santa Anita and Mariposa. I'm just going to pause here a minute and see if I can't find it. Okay, Mariposa and Mendocino are parallel streets. Mariposa looks like it continues for quite some way. Okay, let's see, near Calaveras. That structure surviving. There's Calaveras. Okay. I'm catching up with you, AIR7. I found East Calaveras, which is what that is. And you look at on one side, if you could pause at that building right there, AIR7, I'm sure people know what that is, but I'm going to try to find that address and see if we can't go down here, try to figure out what, that's 712 East Calaveras Street. And I'm going to see if I can, if my maps, I'm catching up here. I've got to go the other direction. Okay, here we are. That is, and by the way, everyone probably knows this if they're in that area, but that appears to be the Altadena Arts Magnet School. And so that means if you are across Altadena Arts Magnet School, all those homes that they're on East Calaveras Street, that seems to be significant destruction across the street from the school. But so many people are worried about getting back to school somehow. What are they going to do? How are they going to do it? But that is the Arts Magnet School there, and now we are approaching East Molina Avenue. Looks like AIR7 is pointed north now, starting to head up north a little bit. There's Mendocino. And so sometimes it's also the angle. So Mariposa is several blocks above Mendocino, but it's sometimes difficult for us to see even at this level. But there's Mariposa. And you can begin to see that's near Marchetta Street. And again, one side of the street, it looks like that strip mall has significant damage, but then maybe that building right there as it approaches Lake seems to have had less damage. And then across Lake at Mariposa, those buildings all seem to be not too bad. Now we're sliding up Lake. Again, so much in the fire presence. They're going to be looking for hot spots. Of course, this is a wind event today. Red flag warning again today. is more, today's red flag warning, more prone to the already vulnerable areas, Porter Ranch, Northridge, Simi Valley, Santa Clarita. So it is in those wind-prone areas that it's mostly happening today, but even any kind of breeze with any remaining embers in some of these spots would be bad. So now we're coming up on North Lake there on the right, East Poppyfield Drive. There's going to be the Rubio Wash debris basin off to the right up there, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's Lake and it should be East Altadena, north and south there. Alta Vista is another road above. You can see some of the addresses. AIR7 zooming in. So you're looking at some of the. Let's zoom in right there, if you could, AIR7 at the corner of Altadena and North Lake, that little population of homes where we have numbers. I'm not sure if we can zoom in on that and take a look at some of those specific addresses right in that space there. So that's Poppy Fields, Dolores, Maiden Lane goes through there, Raposa Lane. Those houses right there between Athens and Alta Vista there do seem to be a few that have survived. Can we zoom in on that? It looks like 914 on 914, just looks like south of Athens, whatever that is right there, and that seems to be an area that some of those survived. That is in the block between Alta Vista and Athens Street. Looks like at least a couple of homes right there in that block were able to survive. So we are going to continue to allow this to kind of play out. I'm going to step aside here. We're going to wrap this up, but we did want to leave you with as much of an opportunity to see what we've seen in Altadena over this Eaton fire. And thanks AIR7 for kind of helping us look in on some very certain things. And if you're looking at this and you really need to look at certain things, maybe you can pause it and it'll give you an opportunity to look. But we want to say, hopefully this has done something for you to help you in some way. It will be such a long process, and we hope to be with you every step of the way, and we hope to provide any aid and comfort we can. But it is going to be a long process, and no matter how much we want it to go quickly, it's not going to. The cleanup alone will be hazardous, and it will take some time.